Hey guys, welcome to the Hoan Zone where we help you multiply the assets you own. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about auctions. This is definitely going to be an informative video. So if you haven't yet subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button because you want to be in tune with this kind of information moving forward. In the last year, I have bought a total of 0 properties on the auction sites because auctions were completely shut down. All the courts were closed, all because of COVID. But they have just opened back up, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the new process to do auctions in Philadelphia. It used to be that you would have to go to West Philadelphia to 38th and Market to go to the auctions to bid on your favorite tax or mortgage sale property. That is no longer the case. Philadelphia has upgraded and they have partnered up with bidforassets.com in order to run their new auction platform so that you don't have to go in person. Now you can do it right from your computer. It used to be a really fun activity going to the auction, but it was also very annoying. You had to pay for parking, you had to sit around with a whole bunch of people, and you're gonna have to sit through a whole bunch of properties that you just can't even bid on. This process now is going to change all of that. There's a lot of differences from what it used to be to what it is today, and I'm going to be going over all of those differences in this video. Let's start off with going to the website. Okay, here is the website right here, bidforassets.com. This is where you're going to have to go for both tax sales and mortgage sales. The very first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit the sign up button, and that can be found right here. Right here is the sign up button. And then after that, we are going to go check out the Philadelphia share of sales by clicking this button here. I'm going to skip the sign up part. You can sign up yourself. But when you sign up, that is how you're going to be able to send your money in, which is a very important part in order to bid on these auction properties. Let's check out, though, the Philadelphia share of sales. Now, there are 2 types that you want to be mindful of. There are both what they call the tax foreclosure auctions, and then you have your mortgage foreclosure auctions. They differ greatly. How they differ? Tax foreclosure is all about when the person has not paid their taxes and then the city is foreclosing on them. The mortgage foreclosure auction is when a person doesn't pay their lender and the lender is choosing to foreclose. There are very different nuances that you want to know in both cases. Let's start with let's go with the mortgage foreclosure auctions. The reason I'm going over this video is because today was the first mortgage auction via this website. So it's a very exciting time. And let me scroll through the auction site. And what I want you to be mindful of is if you look at the statuses, postponed, stayed, postponed, stayed, postponed. We only have one sold right here. This one right here was sold on 921 East Woodlawn Street, okay? Out of all of these properties right here, there was only that one that sold. Now, if I hit the next button, there are more. Stayed. Imagine being at this auction and sitting there for hours and hours and hours, and every property that you wanted was stayed or postponed or stayed or postponed. And then there was only one that actually went to auction. And then you have all of these people bidding on that one just because there was nothing else to bid on. And you had this feeding frenzy on that property. But that kind of sucked. Actually, that sucked a lot, sitting in that auction room, waiting all that time. Since this is a video all about how the auction site works and everything else, what to be mindful of, let's look at a property that actually was sold. Again, let's go back to this one, 921 East Woodlawn Street. I'll click it. It was sold for $74,000. It had a starting minimum bid, $6,800, and then the reserve was met. Now, the reserve, I'm going to go over that real quick. The reserve price is where the lender, remember this is a mortgage sale, the lender was foreclosing because the person did not pay their bill, their mortgage, and there is a principal amount that the lender would like to be paid back in order to sell this property. If that reserve price, which is set by the lender, is not met, the attorney would bid for this property on behalf of the lender, and then the lender would then buy the property. And then if the lender buys the property, that's what we call an REO. And then what happens after the lender buys the property back is they use a listing agent to sell it on the open market. It's a second chance for that property to be sold. The lender does not want the property. The lender wants to get rid of it. First step is to foreclose on it. The other thing that you need to be mindful of is the deposit required as well as the buyer's premium. The deposit required is how much you need to put down in one day. If you wired in or sent a check in to bidforassets.com, if you sent them the money, then you might have enough, you might have sent in enough in order to make this bid. This deposit required is how much you need to pay in order to continue to actually buy the property for that winning bid of $74,000. Also, there's that buyer's premium. In addition to the $74,000, you have to pay 1.5% towards Bid for Assets for hosting this auction. They need a premium, they need a fee for doing that. In this case, it's 1.5%. In the tax auctions, they are 10%. 1.5% is significantly less because they assume that the mortgage sales are going to be way higher. 1.5% in addition to the actual winning bid. As I scroll down, the other thing that you want to be mindful of, right, here's a $10,000 deposit that you need, plus the $35 non-refundable processing fee. And then you also have to pay for the property in full by 15 days. You have 15 days. After you win, you have 15 calendar days in order to get the money in. It used to be 30 days. Now they only give you 15 days to get that money in. You can send it by wire or you can send it by certified check. Either way, you have 15 days to buy it. If you don't get the money in within 15 days, you have lost. That deposit, that $10,000 plus the $35,000 non-refundable fee, that's all lost. And then the second place bidder gets to buy the property at the price that they agreed to. And if you are in second place, if you are actually in second place, then there's going to be a pop-up that says, hey, would you like to be in second place? If so, click yes. And when you click yes, you're going to have to meet that same requirement of having the deposit down and be ready to pay that full amount in 15 days if the first place person does not perform. Those are some things that you got to be mindful of. Now, I want you to be mindful of the different things here. This was sold for $74,000. The minimum bid, $6,800. A lot of people will see this minimum bid from the website and be so excited that they get to buy a property for $6,800. And they go, wow, I'm going to come in as a new investor and I'm going to buy all the properties on auction for $6,800, even if it goes up $7,000, $8,000, whatever. In their head, newbie investors do this all the time. Hoan, I'm going to become a big-time real estate investor because I'm going to buy cheap properties from the auction. Where they go wrong is that they think they're the only investor in the world. There are tons of people at these auction sites just waiting to scoop in and buy properties cheap as well. You are bidding against these people. Here we can see that there were 39 bids. And it went from $6,800 to $74,000. You see how it creeps up really, really fast? That's the thing that you have to be careful of as a newbie investor. You think that you're going to come in with a small bankroll and buy a bunch of cheap properties and then fix them up and then flip them for $1 bazillion. It doesn't happen so easily. You want to be sure that you have enough money to buy these properties. What I want to do now is show you how this property stacks up against what's on the market today. Step one, I am using Google. I am looking all around, just looking at the neighborhood. Now, this block doesn't look so bad, but you can't tell really block by block just from a Google map. A lot of Philly neighborhoods require you to really know it in order to know whether it's a good neighborhood or not. Now, if you're an investor and it's all about the numbers and less about the feel, then what we're going to have to do is go on the MLS and check out the multiple listing service to see what things cost in the neighborhood. Okay, if you see here, I pulled up on the multiple listing services the properties in the area that are active and sold in 0.25 miles from the subject property. And if you look at all of these different properties, here we have actives up top, and then I sorted it by active and closed. Here are all the ones that closed. These are your comps. Remember, we bought the property for $74,000, or I should say that it sold for $74,000, not including the buyer's premium, right? There's cost on top of that. Let's say we're all in $75,000 or whatever it is. Look at the properties here. This you could buy this property, which is 0.0 miles away, which means it's right there, probably right across the street, for $75,000, right? And here you can see the property. Look, the kitchen's all done. Okay, I want you guys to notice something. Let me make this a little larger. Let me see. Do I click this button? Look at this kitchen. This kitchen is pretty nice. It's done. I mean, it's not flip grade, but it's pretty nice. And the heater looks okay. The water tank looks okay. The kitchen's, I'm sorry, the bathroom. The bathroom is decent. It's not bad. It's livable. It's got a nice ceiling fan. I mean, for $75,000, it's hard to beat. And this one's active. You can buy that today. And not only that, you can walk through it. One of the downsides of these auction properties is you can't walk through the property. You can't just like walk through. You really shouldn't even be walking on the steps or nothing. That's trespassing. This property is active on the market for $75,000. Our auction one is selling, when you add up the premiums and everything else, it's selling for more than $75,000, and you can't see it. This is why when people say that they're going to go to the auction and buy all of these cheap properties and become a real estate mogul, I laugh because they don't get it. There are people who are overpaying at the auction for properties, and they've never seen the property. It's going to take a while for the deed to clear and get sent to you. And there may be other things that the property is subject to lien-wise that you just don't know about. Buying it from, let's say, the multiple listing service or directly from a seller is a much, much cleaner process than going through the auction. Now, can you find some gems in the auction? Absolutely. But here's an example of a terrible deal at the auction where people just get so excited. Oh, I'm at the auction. I'm going to bid. And now they make it easier than ever because it's online. And it sold for $74,000 when you can buy this one right here for $75,000. And that's the asking price. You can negotiate. You might get that one. You might get this one right here for $72,000, $70,000, $68,000. Okay, now I want to go back to the auction site, and I want to go to, again, Philadelphia Share of Sales, and then I'm going to scroll down to the tax foreclosure auction, and I want you to take a look at something. This is where people get that glimmer in their eye that they're going to be super, super rich and successful when they buy properties on auction. The current bid, $4,900 and $4,500, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. I get to buy all these properties for so cheap. They're looking at this as if these prices here are what they're going to buy it for. Guys, this is just the starting bid. This is just the starting bid. Let's hit a random one. This one on Yoakum Street. What's nice about the tax sale is that there is no reserve. If you are the only bidder at $4,800 and you win the bid, hey, you got the property for $4,800. That's fantastic. Here's what's not fantastic about a tax foreclosure sale. There is something called the right of redemption. You will not get clear title for at least 12 months because the previous owner who lost the property due to tax sale has 12 months to get that property back. If they come up with the money to pay their back taxes plus a 10% penalty, they can take back the property. So you, as the bidder of this and the winner, and you pay for the property, you now have to just sit on it for 12 months. 12 months. If you did rehab in the property, I don't know if that is just lost, like you just fixed up somebody's house for free. The other thing that you got to be mindful of is, again, the premium, the 10% buyer's premium. That's on top of whatever you win it at. And if it's like that other property that sold for $74,000, that's another $7,400 on top of what you just paid. Again, you can't see the property. You don't get clear title. You don't know if the property is vacant or the person who's living in there needs to be kicked out. And if you have to kick somebody out, there's an ejectment process that you have to go through. It's a mess sometimes. It's a mess. Auctions are not for the faint of heart. There is a lot to worry about and a lot to consider when buying properties on auctions in general, whether it's an auction site or in person. Because of COVID, no more in-person ones. They are all happening this way via auction sites. Know the rules. Otherwise, you might get caught buying a really, really, really bad deal, all because you thought that auctions were the place where you're going to go and get all of these cheap properties because you got faked out by that starting bid. There's a ton more things that you have to be mindful of, like other liens that survive after auction, when you're going to get the deed, how you're going to go pick it up, how long it takes, where you're going to get the money, hard money lenders, will they lend on it, will they not lend on it, do you have to buy it all cash? It used to be you can actually even wholesale the winning auction bids from the original. Can you do that here? I don't know. There are still new things that are coming up. This is a brand new process. Today was actually the very first day of Philadelphia auctions. People are still learning the system. Even the sheriff's department who handles all of the auctions, they don't have a clear process in terms of how they're going to fulfill on all of the sales. Lots to learn. Don't be naive and think auctions are where you're going to become a multimillionaire instantly. It is not for the faint of heart. A lot of things to learn. But if you found this video helpful, definitely hit that like button and hit that share button. Share it with all of your real estate investor friends, because I'm sure some of them may have had that thought that they're going to go to the auction and bid on all kinds of properties and win all of them really, really cheap. It just doesn't happen so easily. Okay, guys, thank you for watching this. Check out hoanzone.com if you want to learn more about trainings that I have coming up. If you're interested in becoming a better real estate investor and multiplying the assets you own, go to hoanzone.com. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.